Hi and welcome back to Tarot Tats and Tea. I'm actually in my car today. I've just dropped a friend up to the hospital, so I'm in the heart of Dublin and just waiting for her to come back. Then we're going to go for lunch and just chill. I thought I would create this little video, to give me something to do whilst I wait, but I just thought it would be nice if you want to reply with a VR to it. It would be wonderful. And the topic is, what was your very first Kickstarter deck that you backed? The questions are, what made you back the deck? Do you use the deck that you backed? And to then tell us about the deck, introduce the deck to us. So first of all, what was the first Kickstarter deck that I backed? The very first Kickstarter deck that I backed, which was back in 2020, is this one here. It's the Crystalskulltarot, and it was created by Jessie Driscoll, and the book was written by Rachel Pollock. And you know, this is a lovely deck. Let me just show you the box. It comes in a two-part box, but I'll go through all this in a minute. But this, like I say, the Crystalskulltarot by Jessie Driscoll was the first Kickstarter backed. I came to learn about this deck through following the Hermit's Cave, Simon Harrison on the Hermit's Cave, and I think Jess had sent him a prototype and he was showing it, and I thought, oh, I really like that. It's extremely unusual and actually quite beautiful. The what made me back this was I have to be honest, it was the influence of Simon demonstrating this. He had Jessie on his channel where he spoke to Jessie, and I really just liked the energy. I just felt it was an extremely positive project, and from that moment I liked the backs, I liked the images, and that's what made me back it. Do I use the deck? I actually do. This is one of the decks, and I think I have a love of this deck, with it being my first ever Kickstarter. It introduced me to Kickstarter. I've since backed a number of different decks, although I have slowed down over this last year. In fact, I haven't backed a deck this year, and so yes, it is special to me. So I'm going to tell you about the deck. It has a lovely cardstock, and actually, does it say on the back here? I don't think it does, but I'll read what it says on the back. Like I say, it's in a two-part box, okay? And it's the Crystalskulltarot is a 78-card photographic deck that follows the RWS tradition. Skulls can be thought of as containers for consciousness, and crystal skulls are effective conduits for intuition. This beautiful deck comes with a 150-page booklet written by tarot legend Rachel Pollock. It's in the box. Find at Crystalskulltarot on Instagram and Facebook. So I don't know if this deck is still available. I don't know if it's out of print, but I will put a link to this when I post this up on my tarot channel, my YouTube channel, as it may still be available. I don't know. But what is very different about this deck, as it says on the back there, it's all through photography and using, as Rachel Pollock has referred to in a deck, props. Those props being crystals, crystal skulls, yarn, coins, little crystal cups, Scrabble letters, and much more, little props, little tiny keys, that sort of thing. And I've picked out just a couple of cards to show you. First of all, the backs. It's like I think that must be a lace tablecloth in the background, but the way the photograph has been taken of the crystal skulls on the back, we've got 4 skulls and 4 little balls, so little spheres on the table. It almost looks like it's 3D. It looks like you are looking into the back of the card. So let's just see how Rachel describes this deck. Okay, I was just reading it here, and I just really liked the way she put this. Right, now the Crystalskulltarot is one of the most original and fascinating. To me, it penetrates into the heart of the RWS cards and extends their meaning and possibilities. For Jessie, the original Pamela Smith drawings act as both a structure and inspiration. In many, she carefully sets up her props, the skulls, stones and other objects, especially yarn, to bring the rider pictures to life. In others, however, she subtly shifts the scene and therefore the meaning. Jessie began with the idea and the challenge that her basic elements, the skulls and other stones and what I call props, especially in the various coloured wools, could bring to life Pamela Smith's action scenes. The difficulties were obvious. First of all, no physical body doing something, even if that something might be an action as simply as sitting in a chair. Add to that no facial expressions other than what is suggested by the shape of the skull, and no scenery beyond what she has created using those props. She overcame these limitations through the careful way she set up the pictures, the use of lighting and camera angles. The cards look basic at first, but the more you look at them, the subtler they appear. And of course there are the skulls. Not only do they bring the characters visually to life, they carry their own energies for healing, for courage, for joy and generosity, for spiritual awareness, even for luck and opportunity. And further, because the skulls are actual objects used in multiple cards, they connect those specific cards to each other in ways both dramatic and mysterious. What does it mean, for example, that the skull that portrays the Fool, the card 0, is also the skull that appears as the Empress, card 3, and then again as the Queen of Pentacles? Or that the skull that embodies death, card 13, is the same skull that we see in the King of Pentacles? There are no set answers to these questions. They are mysteries. They do what the tarot does best, take us into a world beyond our ordinary experience. The book goes on, as I say, there's a little book that comes with this. The book goes on then to tell you about each card. So I thought I would just show you a couple of them. First of all, I'm going to show you the tower, because this is a brilliant representation of the tower. You can see the crystals there as though they've been hit by lightning, and the flames are bursting out from where the break in the tower is, and you can see the two skulls dropping to the rocks below. And these are all created with yarn, crystals and skulls laid out on a tabletop. Isn't that just amazing? You can actually see that that's the tower, and you can actually, as Rachel's quite rightly said, delve into that image and pull out more. I then have the sword of the Four of Swords, the Sword of Swords, the sword of the Four of Swords. And if we look here, whereas the Four of Swords in the RWS has the stained glass window in it, here we can see the four swords in the four crystals, 3 above the skull, 1 beneath, the skull lying on what here would be the top of a sarcophagus, and we have a flame or a light. And this skull, I think, hold on, let me look at that. That doesn't look like clear quartz, that looks like smoky quartz to me. So it's like it's at rest, okay? And this to me is like a healing light, taking that rest to build up your strength to continue on. I just think that that is beautiful. Then we have the Fool, beautifully represented, with the Fool standing on the edge of a cliff and the yarn used to depict the cliff, the sea, the sun. We have the flower above there with more yarn and a little stick, and I think it's just gorgeous. The High Priestess, this is brilliant. We have the little scroll, we have the skull of the High Priestess, but we have the 2 columns, and I love the use of Scrabble letters there. Isn't that just so clever? You can see immediately that that is the High Priestess. The 10 of Cups with our beautiful rainbow at the top, again using yarn, using the skulls to depict family, and we have different sized skulls there so that you can see the parents and the children, and then the 10 little cups. See that, the 4 skulls there? Beautiful. The Hierophant is one that I actually like, and the Hierophant wouldn't necessarily be one of my most favourite cards, but the way this has been depicted is really lovely. You see the clear quartz crystal, and then you have the two blue crystals here, and I am not great at just seeing a picture. Oh, that's this is that. I'm not sure. I'd have to look in the book to see what crystals have been used. But look at the keys, little prop of tiny keys, and all the yarn again to add what needs to be added, along with the pillars of crystal either side. Then we have the Chariot, superbly represented. There we go. You can just see it's amazing, quite amazing. We have the Magician, and if you look at the Magician, you have the sun around the Magician, you have the all the elements, you have the wands, the pentacles, the cups and the swords, and just look at that. It's absolutely gorgeous. And if you look at on the top of the skull there, you see you have the lemniscat there as well. Such a clever use of items to recreate the tarot in a different art form, using photography and taking still photographs of little scenes, using what you have. Judgment, there we go. We've got the skulls rising out from the ground. There's the angel looking down and chatting away to all these that are hopping out of the graves, you know. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles. Beautiful. And can you see what I mean about 3D? It almost looks like that skull is actually coming out of the card. It looks like you can step in behind that skull, almost pick it up. We have the Ace of Swords here. I've just put a couple of aces in here, haven't put them all in. But with being in the car, I won't go through the whole deck. Isn't that lovely? And do you know the Ace of Cups? I just love it. I absolutely love it. Very, very cleverly done. And this is how all the cards are through the deck. It's really one that won my heart back at its inception, and you know, it's beautiful. And I still have my little card here that Jessie put into each pack. It's like a little business card. It's a miniature back, you know, miniature of the larger cards at the back, and it states here, Crystal Skull Tarot, a deck by Jessie Driscoll with book by Rachel Pollock. You can find her on Instagram at Crystal Skull Tarot, Etsy Crystal Skull Tarot, and you can email crystalskulltarot@gmail.com. So I'll pop those in the comments in the description down below. And if you are interested in this deck, maybe get hold of Jessie and see if there are any left, because I tell you something, this is a deck you don't hear a lot about, and I think that's a shame, because it deserves more publicity. It's a little gem, a little gem. So folks, thanks for joining me in my car today. I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to the Crystal Skull, but also the learning that this was the very Kickstarter I backed. What was your first Kickstarter, and could you share it with us? I'd love to see VRs to this. Go ahead, make my day. Take care everyone, lovely chatting to you, and I'll catch you all again soon. Bye now.